guys, this is Shane back here with 1776 in Concord, North Carolina. I'm here today with our friend over at Mills Ammunition. This is Adam Mills himself. He's a local company right here in Huntersville that manufactures semi-spec ammunition for competition shooters and the everyday shooter. So we're here talking with him today about the products that he makes. So Adam, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background as well.
Man, that was a great introduction. That was awesome. So yeah, that's 100% the introduction. But we're Mills Ammunition. We are a veteran-owned, family-run business. I always say, if your last name is Mills, you know, you work for me in some sort of capacity if you want to, stay warm in the house. So we came out with a pistol line in 2020. We did this pretty much back in real quickly in 2008. I looked at buying into an ammunition business. Didn't work out at that point. It's always been on my noggin. I was in the Coast Guard. I carried an M9 for 4 years every single day. Grew up shooting. Began reloading 20 years ago. I started reloading not because I wanted a cheaper alternative, but because I knew I could make a better alternative. And that's kind of what started Mills Ammunition, if you will. We came out with our pistol line, and we did a 45, we did a 380, we did a 9mm, and about a year ago we followed that up with our hollow point 9mm defense line. Some of these samples are here. The 30-second elevator speech that'll go longer is that Mills Ammunition is about making high quality ammunition, exceptionally clean burning, with very low standard deviation. Well, what does that mean? It means consistency across that whole box of ammunition. And we found out that if you want to get better, right, what do you got to do?
You got to practice. You got to train.
You got to practice and you got to train, right? Dry fire, live fire, all those things are imperative. So, the other thing that we found out is when we started making our ammunition, some of our videos you'll see there's probably 30 jars of propellant behind that powder. And we shot it all to figure out what worked the best for us. Clean powder is exceptionally important, right? Because as much as you should go shoot your gun 100 rounds, 150 rounds and come back and clean that bad boy, a lot of folks don't do that, believe it or not. So shooting clean ammunition allows you to get away with some of that, if you will.
Yes, it does.
It allows you to shoot more rounds and not worry about the gun starting to failure to fire and stovetop and all those kinds of things.
Now, we talked a little bit earlier about you're not just a semi-spec manufacturer. You actually put a lot of product testing into your products before you put them onto the market. You do a lot of background research as well.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
So here's the interesting thing is, and I don't think anybody is doing it or telling folks about it like we do, right? So here's the thing. What we found out is through shooting all kinds of ballistic gels, right, is that you don't need plus P, you don't need plus P plus, you don't need any of that stuff. Standard loads work great, right? The issue is that when you're in a self-defense mode, over-penetration is a real thing, right?
Yes, it is.
When God forbid that time comes, you want to hit what you want to shoot and nothing else, right?
100%.
So
always responsible where that bullet goes.
That's the huge thing. Like, look at that, all that those Chicago gunfights, right? I mean, to me, it's like, it's always what they don't want to hit is what gets hit. So our ammunition, let's take our 115 for example. These are true training loads. Not only do we load to minor power factor, so they are a power factor of 130 through a 5-inch barrel. So here's the deal, right? So what we found out through shooting tons and tons and tons of ballistic gel is you don't need plus B plus, you don't need any of those kind of hotter loads, right? The hollow point with today's technology with hollow points is they do an incredible job, right? They don't need to be moving at 2,300 feet per second. So our hollow points are loaded to standard pressures, right? So our 115s, for instance, 9mm is a true training round. They are loaded to give the same muzzle velocity, recoil as all of our hollow points do. So when you go and train with our 115 ammunition, and you go to train with our hollow points, which I highly recommend you do, you're going to feel the same, right? The most important thing to me, and we were talking about this earlier, is follow-up shot, right? So obviously, trigger pull and sight picture is imperative, right? But think about this: no one shoots just one shot, right? It's very important that your second shot goes where your first one was intended to go.
Absolutely.
So that is a specialty of our hollow point, our self-defense. As they say in the shooting world, it shoots very, very flat. So, yeah.
Well, and you talked about earlier also that your training ammunition matches up with your hollow points. I personally have shot your ammunition, and I absolutely love it. And I am a huge proponent in that you should train as you fight. You should use the same quality ammunition that you're going to use to carry every single day to practice with as well.
Yeah.
Because if you're not using it, then if, God forbid, you end up in a defensive situation, well, then you don't know exactly how your firearm is going to react. And that is a crucially important step that a lot of people tend to not think about. And they just go buy what's on the shelf just to get on the range and do some shooting. And there's a little bit more thought process that goes into it. And you guys do a lot of work to make sure that flows across the board for everyday shooters.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about what we see as our job, right? Because I get it, is training people and educating people. I learn stuff at 51 years old, making ammunition. I learn stuff every single day, right? And plenty more to learn. But to me, God forbid you get in that situation where you have to use your firearm to defend yourself, okay? It is going to be an exceptionally traumatic experience, even with tons and tons of training, right? But you want to be able to control as much of that experience as you can, right? So if you've used a certain type of ammunition in that certain gun, right? This is another thing. A lot of people we know train with maybe their 5-inch barrel gun, or how much time are they putting into their carry gun, their everyday carry, right? Think about it. You've got to shoot your everyday carry.
You do.
Period. Take your hollow points, take your self-defense line, and shoot them. You've got to shoot those rounds. I mean, I know they're more expensive, right? It is what it is. I'm not saying to go, shoot 500 rounds of them. But one thing is put them through your gun. Make sure they fire, make sure they run, do a great function check, and figure out what weight you want. Do you want 90s? Do you want 115s? Do you want 124s? Figure out what runs best in your gun, right? And shoots at a recoil level that you feel comfortable with.
And that's another huge one. Not every firearm is going to run the same type of ammunition consistently across the board. Mm-hmm. So you do need to find out exactly which firearm runs what specific ammo the best and you're most comfortable with, because it's a hotly debated topic in the firearms community, but comfort is key. If you're not going to carry it because you're uncomfortable, well, then now it becomes a paperweight. If you're not comfortable shooting it, it's not going to be there when you need it.
Yeah. I always say this, it's frustrating sometimes, but this is all part of the education, right? So here's the thing that I love about 1776. Not only the fact that it's veteran owned and family run as well, but if you come here, these aren't junk guns, right? These are all quality firearms, and that's really where you need to start, right? Get yourself a quality firearm, and that's what you can do here. So you come, you get a quality firearm, right? You've spent this money. It's like, why would you ever buy a brand new Ford F-250 Super Duty, God knows what those things are running now, and put the crummiest diesel you can find? Who would do that?
Yep, that's a great way to have a truck that won't last you very long.
Right? So you've spent all this money, you're going to do all this training, all these things are real. You got to put ammunition through your gun that is quality, right? And, I'm telling you right now, you get what you pay for, and when you pay $15 to $17 for a box of ammunition, you're getting $15 or $17 worth of ammunition, right? So that we really try to find an affordable price, because we're no different than anyone else. We try to shoot as much as we can, and we understand that it's not as cheap as it once was. but we also know that there's a difference between running crummy, dirty stuff from Turkey and God knows where else, and good old-fashioned American ammunition.
That's true. And the fact that this one's made right here in Huntersville, North Carolina, is pretty amazing. Now, I know you said you were doing the 9mm, but you also carry other calibers as well, correct?
Yeah, so we do, and we're ever expanding. But here's the biggest thing is we do a ton of product testing, development, all those things before we put something on the marketplace. But here's what we do have: we have the 45 ACP. These are full metal jacket round nose. Awesome, one of our best rounds we have, to be dead to the point with you. These suckers are highly consistent. I built them around a 1911 and also a Glock 21C. Those were the two guns we used for load developments, and they shoot with a power factor of about 170, exceptionally clean, highly accurate. Got a bunch of good videos on that. We did a 380 as well. We're coming out with a self-defense line for the 380 and the 45, just like we did with the 9mm. So we have 6 different projectiles in our self-defense line in 9mm, and we'll do the same for these other ones, because this is it's like a box set. Right, so you've got the 115s, we got the 147s, and then you got the 6 different projectiles for the hollow points. We'll do the same thing with the 380, and we'll do the same thing with the 45s.
That's awesome. So if everybody was trying to track you down, where are they going to find you guys at?
Well, besides 1776 Tactical, millsammunition.com. You can get all these cool shirts like this. And you guys got some awesome gear too. I hope you guys get to highlight that sometime. But so www.millsammunition.com. We have a YouTube channel that we're trying to grow like y'all are. We do all kinds of not only training videos and videos that show, hey, highlight our product. We got a great new video about selecting recoil springs, right? So these are just that kind of value added, if you will. We're on Instagram and Twitter, and it's the same thing, Mills Ammunition.
Okay, awesome. Well, guys, I'm glad, Adam, you were able to stop in and hang out with us on today. If you haven't liked and subscribed from us today, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that bell so you get all the updates from us here at 1776 Tactical Corporation. Stop in the shop and see us, and make sure you follow us on all the rest of our social media as well. You can find Adam right there along with us, and make sure you guys are spending plenty of time on the range doing that training. See you next time, guys.